I'll jump straight into it. The first one is Motherwell centre forward Tawanda Maswanhise. A revelation, Ewan, this season for the Steelman. He's picked up, got in front of me, 22 goals and 2 assists in 44 games. His market value in this market value update rose from 3.5 million to 5 million euros. And just to kind of underline how impressive he's been this season, his market value at the start of the season was just 450k. Obviously, for anyone who hasn't been following Scottish football this season, Ewan, or perhaps has been but hasn't been keeping an eye on Motherwell, what can you tell us about Maswanhise and why so special, and perhaps what might happen to him this summer in the transfer window?
Yeah, perfectly introduced when you said he's been a revelation, because that's exactly what he has been. Credit must go to Motherwell and Nick Dawes and the recruitment team there, because they rely heavily on data, and they've had an exceptional season, and it's been driven by the manager, who could be on the move this summer, but also the players they brought in, and the striker Maswanhise has had an incredible season. 22 goals. It should also be side note that he went away with Zimbabwe for the African Cup of Nations, so he did miss games, so that could have been higher. But he's an incredible season to score that many goals. He's going to dominate the headlines around Motherwell Football Club. And in terms of his market value, it has rose like exponentially this season, but there's a reason for that. It's our understanding that there was serious interest in the player in January that Motherwell rebuffed. Ultimately, that proved to be the correct decision, because they've qualified for European football qualifiers next season. And he's also retained his value, and not only that, in our opinion, his value has increased due to the fact that he's kind of maintained his form. He's finished with a really, really good goal output, and there's a lot of interest in him. Actually, in Scotland, when a player from outside the old firm does well, they get linked to Celtic and Rangers. Now, that can be for accurate reasons, or because it can be it sells papers and get clicks to certain websites. But there was huge speculation linked into both Celtic and Rangers in the January window, and Motherwell are quite a strong position when it comes to being able to obtain a fee from this summer. There's no overwhelming pressure to sell. Motherwell are one of the provincial clubs. I don't like saying that, but they are one of the clubs in Scotland away from the big two who have had a very good record at selling players. Numerous players. David Turnbull went for good money just last summer. Lennon Miller went to Udinese for a big fee. So I think Motherwell are in a strong position to go and demand what they want from this summer, and I think that will be around about the €5 million mark.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a crucial thing when it comes to player market values. Ceiling, if you will, a glass ceiling that can often be, or that is often implemented when they're at a club that don't sell players very well. And I know that may sound silly because we all think of market values and we think of transfer fees being astronomical. But when you deal with leagues like the Scottish Premiership, there are clubs that are very good at selling players and there are clubs that aren't very good at selling players. And Motherwell are one of the clubs that are getting better at that. And as such, very comfortable putting up Maswanhise's market value to €5 million because Motherwell have shown a capacity to sell players for that kind of money. But yeah, as you're right, linked with Rangers, Anderlecht, and of course some clubs in Saudi Arabia as well. So yeah, Motherwell might be cashing in on his fantastic talents this summer.